Paris in October carries a muted quiet in the early hours. The city moves slowly, as if waking carefully. The sky lingers between night and morning, holding a pale wash of blue that has not yet found its depth. Light mist rests above the Seine, drifting gently over the water. Street lamps glow with a soft amber that fades as dawn approaches. The Louvre stands in this stillness. Its stone walls absorb the dim morning light. Glass pyramids reflect the gray sky in a way that feels subdued, almost contemplative. Shadows stretch beneath arches. Footsteps are few, scattered, distant. Inside, the museum is quiet. Only the faint hum of climate systems and the occasional echo of a guard step moves through the halls. The Apollo Gallery, ornate and gilded, waits in silence. Jewels encased behind glass rest under controlled lighting, shaped by centuries of history. The morning feels ordinary at first glance, yet something about the stillness carries a slight weight, a sense of pause, a moment before a shift no one has yet noticed. The Louvre opens each day with routines that feel timeless. Security checks, staff briefings, cleaning crews finishing their rounds before the first visitors arrive. Guards adjusting their positions, preparing to watch the quiet flow of guests. On 19th October 2025, these routines unfolded as usual. Visitors arrived in the morning air. They walked across the courtyard. They moved through security. They stepped into the museum, unaware that a separate set of movements had already begun outside. A lift truck parked near one of the museum's facades. It appeared to be ordinary maintenance equipment, something often seen around large historic buildings. 4 individuals wore high-visibility clothing, blending in with the rhythms of construction and repair. Nothing about their presence seemed unusual. In the hours that followed, subtle shifts occurred within the building. A window on the first floor, overlooking the Apollo Gallery, became a point of quiet focus. A blind spot in the museum's camera coverage, known but unaddressed, sat unnoticed. The atmosphere remained calm. The museum continued operating. No one yet aware of how these small details would converge. According to confirmed reports from Reuters, AP News, and Le Monde, the sequence of events took place with remarkable quietness and speed. At approximately 9:30, the group used the lift truck to reach the window of the Apollo Gallery. They carried tools. Their movements were deliberate, unhurried. Security footage from nearby areas shows them climbing into the basket lift. They were not approached by guards. No alarms sounded. The window they targeted, sitting above a visitor-accessible courtyard, was not equipped with exterior surveillance. This was later described by French officials as a long-standing blind spot, a vulnerability acknowledged but underestimated. Using power tools, they opened the window. They entered the gallery in a matter of minutes. Inside, the atmosphere remained still. Glass display cases glowed under ceiling lights. Historic jewel, pieces worn by European nobility, rested where they always had. The thieves opened 2 cases. No reports describe smashed glass or widespread disruption. The scene appeared controlled, almost methodical. They removed several items: a diamond tiara, brooches, necklaces, other royal jewels displayed as part of the museum's heritage collection. Exact valuations are not publicly disclosed, but officials describe them as culturally significant and historically rare. Within 8 minutes, the individuals exited through the same window. They descended using the lift truck. The vehicle left the area quickly, blending into the flow of morning traffic. Inside the Louvre, the gallery remained quiet. Visitors walked through other rooms. Nothing yet disturbed the museum's rhythmic calm. Only later did a guard passing by notice the disturbed display. An alarm was triggered. But by then, the moment had already shifted into memory. When authorities arrived, they found the empty cases first. Lights still illuminated velvet linings where jewels once lay. No glass fragments, no signs of struggle, only absence. The window was examined next. The frame showed cutting marks consistent with the tools later recovered. Outside, investigators traced the path used by the lift truck. In the following days, several individuals were arrested, including 2 early suspects who acknowledged involvement, according to AP News and Le Monde reporting. Further arrests followed. Ultimately, at least 6 people were charged in connection with the heist. Authorities described the group as organized and structured, but not necessarily linked to a larger international network. Yet despite the arrests, the jewels themselves did not reappear. Interpol added them to its stolen works of art database, marking each piece with detailed descriptions and photographs. Officials warned that the jewels could be dismantled, diamonds removed, metals melted, a common practice in high-value thefts. This possibility introduced a quieter kind of loss. Not sudden, not dramatic. Just the slow realization that pieces of history might no longer exist in their original form. Investigators collected what remained: a set of gloves, a high-visibility vest, a discarded tool. Each object placed in a clear evidence bag. Photographed, stored. The lift truck was later found in another part of Paris. Its interior held small traces, fibers, fingerprints, dust patterns, none conclusive on their own, just fragments. Inside the museum, the gallery was sealed. Visitors were redirected. Photographs taken for documentation show the empty display cases, still lit, still polished, quietly holding their shape around what is no longer there. Officials noted that the absence itself became an object of the investigation. A lack of damage suggested precision. The short timeline suggested planning, but the exact conversations, decisions, and actions taken during those minutes remain unrecorded. Only the room remembers them in a way that cannot be expressed or measured. Some believe the group studied the Louvre for months, mapping routines, identifying weaknesses, rehearsing their path. It is possible. The quiet execution suggests preparation. Others think inside knowledge may have played a role. Awareness of the blind spot, of schedules, of the window's vulnerability. No definitive evidence supports this, but the idea lingers in the margins of the case. There are theories about the jewels themselves. Some suggest they were quickly dismantled. Diamonds separated from their settings and passed into private channels, where tracking becomes nearly impossible. Others propose the group may intend to keep the pieces intact, hidden for years until scrutiny fades. Another interpretation is that the jewels might have been stolen for reasons other than money: cultural significance, private collection interests, or as part of a larger, still unseen operation. None of these theories can be confirmed. They exist quietly beside what is known, shaped by gaps in the timeline and unanswered questions. Their uncertainty remains part of the story. Paris continues moving through its days. The Seine flows with the same steady rhythm. Tourists gather along the riverbanks. Cafes open their terraces. Bicycles pass by on narrow streets. Life in the city folds the heist into its broader, ongoing narrative. Inside the Louvre, rooms remain filled with art that has survived centuries. Paintings still hang. Sculptures still stand. Visitors still pause in front of masterpieces, whispering softly, absorbing the weight of history. The Apollo Gallery eventually reopened. New cases were installed, security systems upgraded. Yet one corner retains a subtle shift in atmosphere, a quiet echo of what once happened there. The museum holds thousands of stories. Most remain unchanged. One now carries an absence that visitors may notice only if they know where to look. Months have passed. Arrests were made, charges filed, but the jewels remain missing, their location unknown, their condition uncertain. Time moves without resolution. The investigation continues, but quietly. Public attention drifts elsewhere. The museum settles back into its rhythm. The empty space left behind, though now filled, still carries a quiet memory of the morning it was open. Not in dramatic revelation, but in the subdued recognition that even the most secure spaces hold vulnerabilities. Some believe the jewels will one day return. Others think they have been altered beyond recovery. Still others imagine they rest unseen, waiting in storage, untouched since that morning. For now, nothing more is known. The story remains partly open, a small, silent chapter within the long history of a museum built to preserve the past. And in this stillness, the unanswered questions remain where the light touches the glass, and where memory lingers in the quiet spaces between what was taken and what has not yet been found.